What was supposed to be a night of celebration turned into disaster after 4 friends who were all drunk left the bar in the city without a designated driver. Designate a driver. Don't drink and drive.
This is your news source evening bulletin for today, Wednesday, the 29th day of January in the year 2025. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting, and here's what we're tracking tonight. Lashing out at the Irfan Ali administration for not consulting the opposition on this year's national budget, opposition firebrand and Member of Parliament Ganesh Mahipaul told the National Assembly this morning that the president cannot speak of a united Guyana while actively excluding the opposition from meaningful participation. He said that the divisive political tactics employed by the governing People's Progressive Party are evident throughout the country, with thousands of Guyanese being sidelined. According to MP Mahipaul, hundreds of thousands of dollars in cash grants have been doled out to supporters of the government to open and expand their small businesses, while other communities are kept in economic stagnation with no financial assistance.
Why is it that places like Ganamstel, Bagotville, Iflot, Shortville, Sisters Village, and so many others are not in receipt of the same treatment as places like Wakenham, Legwan, Tushin, Parika, and Leonora? Village shops exist in these Afro-Guyanese communities too, but the owners of shops in these communities never in the last 4 years got any cash grant to help them economically. Why is it that hundreds of thousands of dollars in assistance were given to cash crop farmers who look like me and suffered by way of flooding, but thousands who look like Honorable Ministers Todd, Ben, Ejil, Waldron, and McCoy are still begging for a small piece?
Mahipaul argued that ordinary, poor, hardworking Indo-Guyanese, including fisherfolk, are equally awaiting their assistance. Guyanese, he said, are not experiencing one Guyana, but rather 2 Guyanas, in a case of the rich versus the poor, the connected versus the neglected, the friends and family and favorites of the PPP versus the rest of the country. Mahipaul told the National Assembly that while building roads, bridges, and other infrastructure projects are necessary, the government is guilty of mismanaging the country's financial resources and the very projects it often boasts about. He said a 5:30 a.m. meeting called by the president to scold contractors and government officials about extensive delays experienced in the execution of projects was nothing but a sham. He said there continues to be an abuse of the procurement system.
We will not engage in empty rhetoric, making public promises of accountability while secretly socializing with those who should be held responsible. Unlike this government, we will not call for early in the morning 5:30 meetings to stage a performance on accountability, only to let matters languish months after. We refuse to paint a Shakespearean display of concern for accountability while nothing tangible is ever done. It has been years now since the Metamere-Zorg, Charity, Podroin, Bellevue, and Blackbush Polder pump stations, accounting to billions of dollars, where millions upon millions were already paid to contractors and several other critical infrastructure, but remain incomplete. And in many cases, at the sites, there is no work. But do we see anyone, more precisely Honorable Zulfikar Mustafa, being held accountable? The 5:30 meeting was a sham, Mr. Speaker.
The opposition members said a number of contractors were awarded contracts, although they were not the lowest responsive bidder, and were later seen to be incapable of executing the projects. He said it is time for Guyana to adopt a governance approach rooted in transparency, accountability, and genuine unity for the sake of the present and future generations.
The current crop of APNU AFC leaders is committed to leading with unwavering transparency, accountability, and a genuine sense of unity. I am confident in this assurance, particularly considering our current stance on the composition of the national and regional tender boards of this nation. It is our strong conviction that there must be an opposition representative on all tender boards where billions of dollars flow through daily. If we are to ensure the highest standard of transparency, the presence of the opposition on these boards would reduce suspicion of misconduct and the pilfering of the people's money, as their oversight will contribute to fairness and vigilance.
Additionally, Mr. Mahipaul said an APNU-led administration will strengthen the Auditor General's office to allow for greater oversight of government's expenditure. He said at a time when Guyana stands on the brink of unprecedented economic growth, it is important to move beyond the political and economic stagnation of the past. Noting that Guyana can no longer be described as a poor third world country, Mr. Mahipaul said the country now has the resources to rewrite its story. He said it's a story that requires bold leadership, mature decision making, and a commitment to inclusivity and equity. More news coming up in just a moment.
It all starts with one. Maybe it's one look, you know the one, or one touch, even one word. It can start with one step, or one promise, one thrill, one first time, one deep breath, one leap of faith, one day to remember, or one night to forget. One moment, so many stories that make up one crazy, average, everyday, fabulous life. We get one life, just one. Make your move. It all starts with one.
Your own home is so much more than just four walls, floors, and ceilings. It's a lifetime of great memories and stories. Come talk to us and start your journey home today.
Republic Bank, we're the one for you.
Honey, what are you doing? Let's cash out. Let's cash out.
Shop $5,000 or more at any Massey stores for a chance to win a 2024 Nissan Qashqai Sense and $100,000 every 2 weeks with Massey Stores Christmas Jackpot Promotion.
Welcome to Dinner Under the Stars. Indulge in a culinary feast prepared by our talented chefs, featuring locally sourced ingredients and exquisite flavors. Every bite will take you on a culinary journey, from unforgettable starters to delectable desserts. Relax to the soothing sounds of the stylistics and blue magic as the stars twinkle above, creating the perfect ambience for a romantic evening or memorable gathering. Join us for Dinner Under the Stars. Reserve your table today and create memories that will last a lifetime.
Let's tell you now that Minister of Local Government Sonia Parag today fiercely defended the government's part-time job program as she stood in the National Assembly championing the $1.3 trillion budget. of which $11 billion has been set aside for the initiative. Minister Parag said since the start of the budget debates last Friday, the opposition has developed a trend of attacking the 10-day work program, despite the fact that it has been putting thousands of dollars into the hands of thousands of persons. Under the program, persons are paid $40,000 for 10 days of work within a month at a government office or facility.
And I find it quite reprehensible that an honorable member will come to this house purporting or pretending to represent the vulnerable groups in our society, the working class, the young people, and will come and strip those people of their dignity because they choose to have an honest job in the hospitality industry under the part-time program as a garbage collector, or however you look at it.
The opposition has called for permanent jobs to be provided, which would pay more. But while lauding the program, which falls under her ministry, the local government minister said some of the participants have gained fixed employment and are utilizing the skills garnered under the program to upgrade themselves.
Their attack on the part-time workers program under the Ministry of Local Government is not just an attack on policy. It is an attack on the thousands of hard-working men and women who now have a means to provide for their families.
According to the local government minister, the part-time job program has benefited more than 15,000 persons to date. She said 75 of those beneficiaries are women, with more than 2,500 based in the hinterland region. Minister Parag also said the $11 billion which has been set aside for the program this year will see its expansion. She said aside from the program, $13.2 billion has also been set aside to support better solid waste management in the country.
With that, we will have new compactor trucks equipping the NDCs. We will now also have the firefighting mobile vehicles that were procured from the Home Affairs Department to assist as a first response from the local democratic organs in the communities, 40 of which are here already. We will continue to create landfill sites. 13 were already created from 2020 to now.
The National Assembly was also told that in addition to their annual subvention, neighborhood democratic councils have received an annual grant since 2020. But APNU-AFC Member of Parliament Ganesh Mahipaul told the Assembly that Minister Parag, since taking office more than a year ago, has failed to complete a number of programs.
Our target that was set by this ministry was achieved under Honorable Sonia Parag. The local government sector strategy not achieved. The completion of a sanitation sector plan not achieved. Establishment of the monitoring and evaluation framework not achieved. Completion of the ministry's strategic plan not achieved. Completion of the regional strategic plans not achieved. Training staff in specific areas targeting 760 staff not achieved. And as per their manifesto promise, substantially increasing the subvention to NDCs and tongues not achieved.
Mahipaul said despite the commitment by the government to increase the subventions of NDCs and the town councils, those subventions have remained stagnant since the change of government in 2020.
We did it before and we will do it again. We are committed to overseers, chairs and vice chairs, councillors, a significant increase in your salaries and benefits. We did it before and we will do it again. We are committing to the national pathway workers to create an avenue for them to develop their skills and truly have a pathway to real development, not to just be stagnated at $40,000 for 10 days. We will reopen the Bertram Collins College of the Public Service and develop programs to incorporate those very pathway workers for their smooth entry into the public service, where they will be able to be at the pensionable establishment so that they can get a better salary and at the time of retirement a pension for their continued survival can be guaranteed.
Mr. Mahipaul also said the APNU-AFC will also develop a structure for regional economic transformation and will explore the feasibility of a recycling plant for the country. Turning now to the power supply sector, opposition Member of Parliament David Patterson has accused the government of manufacturing crisis at the Guyana Power and Light Company rather than working to fix the service being provided to citizens. During the ongoing budget debates in the National Assembly, Mr. Patterson said when the coalition took office back in 2015, it met an ailing GPL, but immediately took steps to ensure that the power company became stable. Patterson said the previous PPP government failed to address the problems at GPL, and the current one is doing the same, even after the APNU-AFC administration would have provided the support to the company during its first time in office to have it functioning in an acceptable manner. Patterson said the collapse of the power company restarted when the PPP returned to office in 2020.
PPP returned to office and did absolutely nothing for 3 years. Other than fire competent people, install their friends and family. Sir, and when the bottom fell out of the boat, they commenced emergency spending and still cannot get it right.
The opposition Member of Parliament who served as the Public Infrastructure Minister under the APNU-AFC government said this government's continued complaints about the increase in demand for power is neither here nor there. He explained that the demand was expected and was discussed and was projected since the coalition's term in office. Mr. Patterson said the necessary advice was left with the PPP, but nothing was done until the company showed signs of a collapse.
What we're saying, sir, the government was aware of the electricity demands that would be increasing since 2020, but did absolutely nothing. Under the APNU-AFC administration, we left GPL with excess generating power ahead of demand. But the PPP sat back and did nothing for 3 years.
He also said the issue over at GPL seems to have been properly engineered to create a crisis and then channel emergency funding to middlemen. He said the government's procurement of faulty generators and the rental of power ships could have been avoided if it had moved swiftly to address the country's power challenges. GPL will get another $18 billion in subsidy this year, and Mr. Patterson told the Assembly that the coalition never gave a cent in subsidy to GPL because it properly managed the company.
Moreover, not only did we not give GPL a subsidy, sir, GPL commenced repaying loans and subsidies taken under the PPP administration, sir. The company repaid $1 billion a year for each year from 2016 to 2019, sir. And we were able to provide less blackouts.
MP Patterson said the government's plan to slash electricity costs by half when the Gas Ashore project comes on stream is questionable, as it has not explained who will take care of GPL's built-in costs.
Welcome to Dinner Under the Stars. Indulge in a culinary feast prepared by our talented chefs, featuring locally sourced ingredients and exquisite flavors. Every bite will take you on a culinary journey, from unforgettable starters to delectable desserts. Relax to the soothing sounds of the stylistics and blue magic as the stars twinkle above, creating the perfect ambience for a romantic evening or memorable gathering. Join us for Dinner Under the Stars. Reserve your table today and create memories that will last a lifetime.
Your own home is so much more than just 4 walls, floors, and ceilings. It's a lifetime of great memories and stories. Come talk to us and start your journey home today.
Republic Bank, we're the one for you.
Ready to up your game. Ready to up your game. Win big with over 60 epic prizes. A brand new PS5, Nintendo Switch, iPhone 16 Pro Max, Apple smartwatch, and the hottest earbuds from Apple and Samsung. Plus, we are giving away thousands in phone credit and a whole year supply of Buster or Turbo Energy drink. Here's how. Buy any Buster or Turbo Energy drink, find the code starting with BB and enter online or on WhatsApp. Visit us on Facebook or Instagram at Turbo_Caribbean or Buster Guyana for all the details. Don't just play. Up your game with Buster and Turbo Energy.
In the education sector now, in a fierce battle of words over the education sector, Minister of Education Priya Manik-Chand clashed with opposition MP Coretta MacDonald and declared that the government will not rest until it achieves a 100% pass rate in math and English at the CXC level. On Tuesday, Minister Manik-Chand told the National Assembly that a low pass rate linked to math and English is not unique to Guyana. She said the Ministry of Education under her stewardship has put measures in place to improve students' performance at both the primary and secondary level.
So what are we doing, sir? We immediately put and kicked into gear our own math intervention. What's that math intervention? We're giving to every 4th and 5th former scientific calculators, geometry sets, graph books, all the textbooks they need, and past papers organized by topic. We're sending in monitors to make sure teachers are teaching and finishing the syllabus. And we're going school to school and talking to the parents about their role. We are doing something about it. We are doing something to take us to the place of 100%.
Making it clear that the issue is not new, the Education Minister pointed out that under the former APNU-AFC administration, a commission of inquiry was launched into the education sector due to the low pass rate recorded in both math and English. She said just last year, the Caribbean Examination Council expressed dismay over the decline in the pass rate for CXC mathematics. Turning her attention to the contentious issue of investments in infrastructure, Minister Manik-Chand told the House that it appears to be the philosophy of the opposition not to invest significantly in the construction of schools. She said the government has spent almost $40 billion to construct new schools over the past few years, adding that the administration has also been investing heavily to get more teachers trained.
Speaker, they will develop appropriate non-monetary benefits, free land and duty-free concessions for teachers and university professors. Fail. None was given. Increase emoluments and improve working conditions for teachers. Fail. Provide an improved quality of education. Fail. Ensure equal access to education. Fail. Link education and curriculum design to Guyana's national development needs. Fail. Engage teachers and other stakeholders as active participants in the development of education in Guyana. Fail.
But opposition member of Parliament Coretta MacDonald, who is also the General Secretary of the Guyana Teachers Union, said while the government boasts of the number of schools it has built and the number of children it has fed, many of the programs and projects being implemented today were introduced by the People's National Congress and the APNU-AFC while in office.
But sir, let me remind this House that all that is happening is they're continuing from where we would have left off. LFS Burnham, Mr. Speaker, introduced, for those of you who are too young to know, Cirex, hot milk, biscuits in schools. They have introduced, sir, exercise books and textbooks. Schools were built under the PNC. Schools were rehabilitated under the APNU. Schools and learning, effective learning, sir, took place during those times.
MacDonald submitted to the House that the country's financial resources are being wasted at the hands of the Pacific government. She said after billions of dollars in investments, it is unclear whether the expected outcomes have been achieved.
$1 billion here and $1 billion there. A school here and a school there. Sir, but there is no holistic evaluation of what occurs after the school is opened and the cameras are gone. Sir, this budget has once again confirmed to teachers that their work is not valued by this merciless regime. And the only hope lies in ensuring that they get registered and prepare to return the coalition to government.
Arguing that quantity does not equate to quality, the opposition MP said at present the teacher-to-student ratio is extremely high and continues to impact the quality of education. She said the situation is evident in the performance of students both at the primary and secondary levels. At the secondary level, the matriculation rate is less than 50%. On the police blotter tonight, although she walked away from an abusive relationship and was restarting life on her own terms, an Annandale East Coast Demerara woman was found murdered this afternoon at the home of her estranged husband. The dead woman has been identified as Bibi Fazi Ali. She worked as a cleaner at a school near to the ex-husband's house. The relationship, according to relatives, came to an end a few months ago, following years of abuse. The woman moved out of the home she shared with her husband and returned to her mother's home. However, she continued to work at the nearby school. The mother recalled that the family tried several times to get justice for her abused daughter, but met many dead ends. The grieving woman said she last saw her daughter this morning as she left home for work. She said she does not know why she visited the house of the abusive ex-husband.
Yeah, every time you beat the girl, one time brass, you hear the cutlass, bus beer back head, bullshit she face, bullshit she foot. When we got the station, no report. Then I take no report. The police said they're not ready for that. When they want to beat the girl again, we catch the public, then I do nothing. Then I do nothing to she may have to bring home back to my house. She called, she tell me she got to pay water bill, she got to pay light bill, how you working money, so you take away all the money from she. She not get no money for spend. But Tasha, she come here me, and she come here me. She work at the school and God know how she meet them. Can't tell her how me picnic meet there. Of this morning, you crying to mommy, me hear what? Me then drink 2 pounds and I go tell teacher if you not feel good, come home and rest. He said, no mommy, me gotta walk. Oh, me know this
The mother broke down in tears as she saw her daughter's lifeless body being removed from the house. She is pleading for justice and is begging the authorities to find her daughter's killer, who has since gone on the run. A Golden Grove East Coast Demerara taxi driver and the watchman from Bagatstang on the east bank of the Demerara are in police custody for drug trafficking tonight. The two men, 48-year-old Earl Harper and 47-year-old Dwayne Campbell, were both arrested on Monday with more than 47 pounds of marijuana in their possession. The packages of marijuana were found in a car that was being driven by Harper, with Campbell as the only other occupant. The police said the bust took place along Mandela Avenue here in Georgetown. A statement from the Guyana Police Force explained that police ranks were on patrol in the area when they received information about the movement of the marijuana. The police said the car was identified and pulled over. The two occupants were told about the information that was received by the police, and the search of the car uncovered the marijuana stashed in the trunk of the car in a backpack. The two men were immediately arrested and taken to the nearby Eastern Penitence Police Station and later transferred to the CID headquarters. The police said the packages contained marijuana seeds, leaves, and stems. The two suspects remain in custody as the investigations are ongoing.
Guyana's economy is rapidly transforming, and we're all part of it. Guyoil is at the forefront of this development by providing reliable and efficient energy and supporting community development from the very core. 100% of Guyana's profit goes back to building schools, roads, and other important infrastructure that connects our cities and towns, providing fuel to domestic, marine, industrial, and aerial transportation. Guyana has now repositioned itself as a market leader in the petroleum industry, building a better future for all of us.
What was supposed to be a night of celebration turned into disaster after 4 friends who were all drunk left the bar in the city without a designated driver. Designate a driver. Don't drink and drive.
It all starts with one. Maybe it's one look. You know the one. Or one touch. Even one word. I can start with one step. Or one promise. One thrill. One first time. One deep breath. One leap of faith. One day to remember. Or one night to forget. One moment. So many stories that make up one crazy, average, everyday, fabulous life. We get one life. Just one. Make your move. It all starts with one.
With your regional and international news tonight, I am Svetlana Marshall in the region. Reuters, in a report, said U.S. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem cut the duration of deportation protections for 600,000 Venezuelans in the U.S. as the Trump administration searches for ways to ramp up removals of Venezuelan nationals. Noem told Fox News on Wednesday that she rescinded the previous administration's move to grant Venezuelans in the U.S. an additional 18 months of deportation relief and access to work permits through the Temporary Protected Status Program. And as such, the protections could expire later this year. At the same time, she said she was working with the Secretary of State Marco Rubio to find ways to deport Venezuelans and other migrants from nations that limit the number of deportees they accept. When asked about the possibility of sending migrants to the U.S. naval base in Guantanamo Bay, Cuba, she said that was being evaluated by the administration. Guantanamo houses a migrant facility separate from the high-security U.S. prison that has been used on occasion for decades, including to house Haitians and Cubans picked up at sea. Haiti's Transitional Council President Leslie Voltaire said in an interview on Wednesday that a date for the Caribbean nation's long-awaited general elections has been fixed for around November 15 of this year. Reuters, in a report, said Haiti has lacked elected representatives since January 2023 and has not held elections since 2016. The country's capital is almost entirely controlled by armed gangs, and leaders have said security must first be established to hold a free and fair vote. And finally tonight, international news. President Donald Trump's administration pulled back a proposed spending freeze that threatened to disrupt hundreds of billions of dollars in aid to U.S. programs, a White House official said on Wednesday. According to the BBC, the first major domestic policy reversal of the Republican president's new term came after one federal judge had temporarily blocked the freeze and before another judge was due to hear a separate legal challenge. The proposal had thrown the federal government into chaos and disrupted payments to medical and child care providers. Separately, the White House said Trump will target pro-Palestinian student protesters for deportation in a sign that he is broadening his immigration crackdown to include persons based on their political views. The White House said Trump will sign an executive order that would revoke student visas for college students and other non-citizens who took part in anti-Israel protests. Trump's immigration crackdown crackdown until now has focused on deporting migrants who do not have a legal basis to stay in the United States. This order, if implemented, could target those who are in the country legally. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. I'm Swatlana Marshall reporting and wishing you a pleasant evening.